everybody, and welcome to this lovely day. We are at Genesee County Park and Forest, located just outside of Bethany, New York. And today we're going to do one of the hikes on the Western New York Hiking Challenge. So we're going to knock this one out. I'm actually not sure how long this hike is, because there's different options on where to enter the trail. I have a feeling it's going to be around 3.5, 4 miles round trip. It might be a little bit more, but we'll just play it by ear and see. So it's a lovely day today, and I can't wait to get out and on the trail. So join me, and thank you guys for being here, and I hope that you enjoy this video. All right, so we got our hiking poles, and let's go take a walk here at Genesee County Park and Forest. It is a beautiful day, a little bit windy, but that's all right. The breeze is going to be nice because it is supposed to be around 80 degrees today, so I'm looking forward to that. We've needed some sunny days, some sunny and warm days for sure. I have hiked here before. This is a very nice hike. There's many options, like I was saying in the beginning, for hiking here. So you can really get creative on how you attack it, and you can really do different hikes if you come here multiple times. So that's nice. I like to have options. Just an absolutely gorgeous day today. Took the day off from work to get a little hiking done. I plan on doing 2 hikes today, but this is the first one of the day, and I think I'll be going over to Beaver Meadow and do that hike today, hopefully. So let me just check my map real quick. There's so many options here that it can get a little confusing, but as long as you have your map. So I think we're going to go off to the right here. We've had quite a bit of rain again, still. So I expect it to be a little bit muddy in spots, but hey, that's okay. Going uphill. So I have a lot of thoughts this week running through my head, a lot of self-reflection going on. And I wanted to convey this message. I'm going to make a TikTok video on this as well, but getting to know somebody, whether you're dating, friendship, or whatever, getting to know somebody. So, how long does it take for you to truly know another person, to know their genuine intentions towards you and their place in your life. How long do you think that takes? Well, I think the problem is a lot of people rush into connections. And let me tell you something, it can take months, sometimes years, to really understand who somebody is. What their true core values are, who they truly are underneath the facade of the everyday, or how they present themselves to you. I recently heard from a friend who was dating this guy, and he presented as a good person, good head on his shoulders, upstanding citizen, just presented as a good person in general. Well, come to find out, he was in the process of abandoning his children and basically running around with other women. And so she had known this guy for a couple of years, and even then, he never presented as this person. So you have to be careful, because people are very, very good at hiding their true, authentic selves. On the other hand, there are people who do present themselves as who they are all the time. And I'd like to think, I know that I am one of those people. I'm very upfront, open, and authentic with who I am and what I'm feeling. Let me just check the map real quick. But like I was saying, I try most all the time to be my authentic self, so that people get to know the true me, so that I present as the true me, because that is what is important. Number one, because you don't want to mislead people into having them think that you're somebody that you're not, but also so that you know who is for you and who doesn't like you or who's against you. If you show up as yourself all the time, you will quickly be able to decipher who is good for you in your life and who is not. So it's important in that sense as well. All right, we're going to do a little road crossing here. Look both ways. This is called the Creek Trail. Now we finally get a couple signs. And I think up here we're going to make another turn. Alright, so here we're going to start to go over some of these boardwalks. There's quite a few of them here. This is basically old marshland that they have preserved, which is great. There's a lot of wildlife here. Just a really cool boardwalk stretch there. I will go over to the Nature Center today if it is open and if they allow filming in there. So we shall see. place I would say is on my top 5 favorite places for me. One of the reasons why is because there's a very big mixture of types of environment, and some of the pine forests here are some of the nicest that I've ever been in. Just very, very, very serene. Something about the smell of a pine forest that just, I don't know, it just speaks to my soul. I'm not quite sure why, but it just does. And it's so nice, that smell of fresh pine. Oh, I can't get enough of it. But strangely enough, I do not like the smell of like fake pine, like, you know, pine sol or pine scented candles or air fresheners. I'm really not into that, but the natural stuff, it just does something to me. Like here you can see we're kind of getting into this, I don't even know what you'd call it, kind of mixed timbers maybe. So we just kind of came out of a marshy bit into these mixed timbers. A lot of small saplings. That's great to see. And then here we have another junction. Lots of junctions on this trail. So let's just check and make sure we're on the right track. Yeah, so we're going to go over to the right here. And look at this. I love bridges, these little foot bridges. Very cool, look at that. So I stopped at this footbridge. Take a look underneath. Surprisingly, there's not a lot of water in this creek, which I'm kind of shocked because we've had so much rain. But that's a good sign that Mother Nature is doing her thing and taking up all that water. She must be thirsty. Oh, there's a couple of squirrels. Yeah, this is the part where we enter the pine forest. And as you can see, all of these tall pines, very tall pines. This is one of my absolute favorite sections to hike. And the nice part is this is not a difficult hike. It is on the moderate list for the challenge, but I would definitely say it's an easy hike, even for the average person. You don't have to do the whole loop. You can do it in sections. You know, there's a lot of intersections that you can just, you know, make your own loop, which is really nice. There are a lot of times where I just enjoy to freestyle. And they do have these signs throughout that you can stop and take a look. They give you some really cool kind of background of what the landscape is and what's going on. But you can see this is what's called a vernal pool. And it's just a forest floor type of pooling of water, which is really cool. Oh, the smell of those pine needles on the forest floor, and you can hear them the wind just rustling all those tree limbs above me. Just a magical feeling and experience. I just love it. So that is called the Forestry Trail, if anybody's interested. So here's a great example of what I was talking about earlier. We go from these beautiful tall pine sections here and immediately back into kind of these mixed timbers. And there's just a lot of, you almost feel like you're going through different environments, different worlds. It's really cool. And I'm going to turn back one more time to kind of show you. It's kind of like a, if you imagine it, in my mind anyway, this is what I'm imagining, just a doorway to a whole different feeling, whole different world. I love that about the outdoors, you know, and I love that when you get a mixed environment like we're in now, it just keeps it interesting, you know. Change is good. Change is what drives us as people. And sometimes change is painful. Sometimes change is uncomfortable. Sometimes change is welcomed. But no matter the type of change, it's pushing you and propelling you forward. And that's what's important. I always thought this was kind of strange for a trail name, but the Death Row Trail, that's what we're on right now. And it goes uphill. And now there is the challenge landmark is basically an old cemetery. So close to here, like maybe a quarter mile away, maybe not even, there's what's known as the Genesee County Poor Farm. It's better known as the Rolling Hills Asylum, which has been featured on Ghost Adventures and I think Ghost Hunters. Don't quote me on that. But it was basically an insane asylum that housed patients and residents for many years, and it was many things throughout its lifetime, the facility itself. But I believe, if I remember right, there's some of the original residents of that, I think, are buried here. Yeah. So I'll read this plaque to you guys. Hopefully you can see it. But it says, "In memory of all who died while living in the Genesee County home from 1827 to 1974. And this is the site of the County Homes Cemetery. So let's go take a look. It's very cool, but also a very eerie feeling. I'll tell you a story about the asylum in just a little bit, but let's take a look here at some of the headstones. Yeah, there's only 6 here. Definitely an eerie feeling. But a reminder of the things that people go through, you know, from a mental health standpoint. The things that people endured back in those times you know, for suffering with mental illness. It was very taboo to have any issues like that. And some of these folks were treated very poorly. And it's nice to have a place that's dedicated to them and reflect on it. There's so many of that. There's a lot of that went on back in those times, unfortunately. And I will post a picture of the landmark right after this clip. So you can really see this beautiful landscape here. This is kind of like almost meadow before the hill and the forest. This is just gorgeous to come from walking through the forest and out to this beautiful sunshine. I'm not an expert on flowers, but these purple flowers are just beautiful. There's purple and white varieties of those. Just an absolutely gorgeous day. I can't get over it. Yeah, this land is so flat I haven't really even been using my hiking poles. But it's always good to have them, so. You really got to be careful in this tall grass. If you're worried about ticks, which you should be. This isn't too bad, but definitely make sure you have your legs sprayed. Personally, I find it easier to wear shorts and spray your legs directly. Some people swear by pants, but I like shorts because I think you can keep track of your legs easier and do tick checks more frequently. So that's my 2 cents on that. Oh yeah, we have a really marshy area over to the right side of me right now. Lots of dragonflies. The grass is pretty wet, which is to be expected right here. I'll turn back around and show you this little boggy area here in a second. Look at that. There's some geese swimming around out there. Check the map real quick. Make sure we're headed the right way. I think I'm going to take a detour and take you guys up to the it's called the Genesee County Interpretive Center. It's basically a nature center that has a bunch of really cool stuff in there. It's really nice. And there is a part of the challenge that you go in there and they should have a QR code to scan. And I think you get an extra 2 or 3 points, if I remember. So I'm going to walk right up to this road here, hang a left, and I'll walk up there. Hopefully they allow me to film inside. If they do, then I'll take some footage of the inside, which it's really nice in there. So hopefully they do. So I'm going to hang a left, and I'll be right back with you. All right, so we're coming up to the Nature Center, or Interpretive Center as it's really known as, really called. And this is just a beautiful building. So there's lots of really interesting things in here. I believe this is where they have some of their classes and events. Nice space for children. The woodwork in here is just beautiful. There's a turtle. Hi, Mr. Turtle. Yeah, here's the code that you have to scan. And I've already done that. So very, very cool place. So just coming out of the Interpretive Center. I've never been over here, so let's check out the Acorns Outdoor Learning Center. It says established in 2014. This just looks like kind of an outdoor area for teaching classes and stuff. Oh, this is like an observation viewing panel. Like a viewing blind. Wow. It's really cool. Yeah, the structure is just made out of old, looks like just blown down wood. And then over here, I love this sign. Wow, that sign is so cool. And then over here, looks like they have like an outdoor lecture center, I guess is what you'd call it. This is what they're calling the sensory garden. Got some different plants in the middle there. Over here they have a, I'm not sure what that is, a rain barrel, I think. And as you can see, there's kind of like this outdoor seating area, like a auditorium lecture area. Really, really beautiful over here. All right, so we're gonna cross the road here and take this trail. Hopefully it's not too overgrown. This is Toboggan Hill 2. And this should connect us back to the main trail after our little detour there. But just to continue on about my experiences at the Genesee County Poor Farm, Poor Home Asylum. Rolling Hills Asylum is what it's known as today. But I was very young, about 12, 13 years old at the time, and we were just passing through, and the asylum actually had like a flea market in the bottom of it. It has since been abandoned, the top floors, but it had like a strange little flea market craft thing. So we were passing by, stopped in, and I had no clue what the place was. Nobody really knew, but we're just looking around, and then they have this room in the back called, it's like the solarium, or it had some name, but it's like a solarium room. And we're looking through these photo albums, and it was all about paranormal activity. And I had weird feelings going into the place, but that really cemented it for me, because actually where I was standing was a picture of a shadow figure, and it creeped me out. And knowing what I know about the place now and how active it is from a paranormal sense, I understand. And so, make a long story short, I'd visited there a few times after that. Not a ghost hunt or anything, just a daytime tour. And I believe, because I'm very sensitive to energies and different things of that nature, I believe in it wholeheartedly. I believe that the energies of passed on people can sometimes linger here on Earth. And that would make a lot of sense why I was feeling different feelings at that particular location, because a lot of those people died from sickness, abuse, suicides, a lot of different negative things, and I believe that when somebody dies unexpectedly, or they take their own life, or they're abused or whatever, I think that their energy gets stuck, or they call it earthbound, and they haven't yet passed on. And there's a lot of that energy at the Rolling Hills Asylum. And I believe I picked up an attachment from there that followed me, because I didn't know how to spiritually protect myself at the time. I wasn't experienced in that part of it, so I really feel like I did pick up an attachment from there, and that's why I'm always careful about those types of things. I will show you. I'll take a drive-by of the asylum just so you guys see what it is, but I definitely won't be going there. Even though I do know the techniques now. I am very spiritually protected. I work with Archangel Michael. I pray a lot. I use crystals and stuff, and some people think, oh, that's, woo-woo and all that, but I believe in it. There's something to it, even if it just helps your psyche, but I believe that we do have spiritual guides and angels that help us and guide us through life and protect us. So something that I do on all my hikes, and I think that is a good lesson for life too, but especially when you're outdoors, doing physical activity or in the middle of nowhere, like I find myself a lot of the times, it's important to stop, I think, mid-hike or several times during your hike, and really take an inventory of how you're feeling. How are your legs feeling? How are your arms? Do you have any strange bug bites? Should you, stop and check for ticks, take drinks, those types of things. Just stop and not only check on your own well-being, but make sure that you take in the environment. I think a lot of times, what I find myself doing anyway, is I rushed through the hike and I didn't stop to really experience the place, and I think it's important to do that. So, and it's important to do that in life. It's important to stop and see what's going on in your life. Take an inventory of how you're feeling mentally, physically, spiritually, all of that, So I'm going to sit down on this bench for a few minutes. I think I'm going to get a snack and a drink, and take in the environment and continue on. It's just a beautiful day, a beautiful hike, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Alright, so today for a snack we have these Better Goods organic dried strawberries. Picked these up at Walmart, and I already had a few, but we'll go ahead and try one. They are like nature's candy. Literally tastes like a fruit snack. We have organic dried strawberries. They're using organic apple juice concentrate for a little bit of sweetness. And we have organic sunflower oil. And there's the nutrition facts. I like these. These are very good. I usually try to bring a healthy, natural snack with me, and this is a good one for hiking. I like it. I do have some beef jerky in the truck for some protein after this hike. So, but these and some water is what's for a hiking snack today. So this is always a pretty cool spot. This kind of marshy area. But it does appear that the little boardwalk thing is seen some damage to the entrance here. Luckily it's still usable, so we'll go take a look. Lots of dragonflies. One almost flew right in my face. But look at this. Marsh. Wow. You can see how many of these big trees came down. They've got them all cut up here. But wow. Lots of blowdowns. I believe we just keep going straight ahead if I remember right. This route, this year's hike kind of mirrors last year's hike for the most part. I'd only seen one little difference. But again, this place has so many different trails and whatnot that you could come back here, 20 different times and have 20 different hikes. And I really, really like that about these nature preserves. Typically have a lot of trails, and you can really create your own hike, how you want, or even how you're feeling that day, or whatever. There's another trail that goes that way. I'm not sure. Sorry guys, I keep checking the map, but I just want to make sure we're going. Yep, we are going that way. Just want to make sure we're going the right way. There's so many different, like I said, options here. This bridge looks newer. Another marshy area over here to the left. And then we come out to a clearing here. Ooh! Huge fly just flew at me. Full speed. Bonked me right in the head. Anyway, I'm a sissy when it comes to bugs, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. I do not like flying insects. Not one bit. Oh boy, lots of mud here. Alright, let's traverse this over here. And then over here. Yeah, this is very wet and soggy. But hey, you know what? It's a challenge that we're gonna face and get through here. Maybe just have some muddy paws. Oh, that wasn't too bad actually. I've been in way worse situations than that with when it comes to mud. I thought by now most of this from the spring rains and whatnot would be over with and we'd have some dry conditions, but Mother Nature's got some different ideas this year, that's for sure. She's a little bit temperamental. But we still love her. We still love Mama Earth. You have to love her. She's all we got. So currently we're on the conservation trail. So we're kind of on a little detour here. Well, this is a really cool spot. Right in here. Very, I don't know what's the word I want to use, mystical. Almost reminds me of fairyland. So I ended up coming out of the woods and there's like a shelter up there and I had to use the bathroom. So I'm gonna head back to the truck this way on this this little roadway. And the next time that I flip this on, I will show you guys the Rolling Hills Asylum. I'll stop by out front and take some footage of that so you can see what I was talking about earlier in the video. And yeah, and then that'll wrap up this hike. And then we're gonna head over to, it's called Beaver Meadow. It's like another wildlife preserve and a nature center. And we're gonna kind of do the same thing there. Do a hike and then go see, go in the nature center, and there's also a QR code to scan there too. So thanks for joining me here on this hike. Nice breezy 80-degree sunny day. So this, my friends, is the Rolling Hills Asylum. This is what I was talking about on the hike. Also known as the Genesee County Poor Farm. And this place is just massive. And so that is the Rolling Hills